The chances of being born an identical twin are 1 in 250, but for some twins, the coincidence doesn't stop there. In Oldham in 1976, 2 sets of identical twins were born on the same day in the same hospital. Although they didn't know each other, both pairs had a typical twin upbringing.
We did everything together. We had the same friends and we always played out together. We just did everything together. We would even sit on the same chair when we was having our tea.
We still like the same food now as well, don't we?
Yeah.
As we did when we was little, and drinks and... There's not much things that we don't like.
There's not many differences, is there?
Well, we had bunk beds. I was always on the top, Sean was on the bottom. And like we say, whenever Christmas time or anything like that, there was always 2 of everything. So it was quite packed in our room.
Yeah, we used to turn away from each other, because if we saw what they'd opened and you hadn't opened it first, you knew what you were getting, so it took all the excitement out of it. So we used to sit back to back, opening things. Don't we?
Yeah.
When the 2 sets of twins first met, Sean and Darren were performing as a double act in a local pub.
The first time I remember seeing Sean was when he was singing, and that's what I was attracted about, his singing voice. And then as I got to know him, I was attracted to his personality and his eyes. I liked his eyes.
The first thing I liked about Max is just we were very bubbly, very lively.
It was his personality that shone through and his sense of humour. I just remember him being very small and funny. He made me laugh.
She was about the same height as me, which was an advantage. She was quite bubbly.
Later, the twins discovered they also shared the same birthday.
I was very surprised when I found out Sean was born on the same day, because I thought he was lying to me.
January, like I said, 26th, and she didn't believe me. She thought that I'd find out her birthday and I'd try to line her up.
I had to get him to get his driving licence to prove to me that he was actually born on the same day, we had the same birthday.
But it was strange knowing that my brother was having his birthday on the same day as his girlfriend, and she was a twin as well.
It's freaky, isn't it? It's, it was just a shock.
2 sets of identical twins may have seemed made for each other, but there was a hitch.
When I first started seeing Darren, we had to keep it a secret, because Sean wasn't very big on the twin thing. He wanted to be seen as an individual, and then knowing that he was his twin brother was seeing his girlfriend's twin sister.
If I wanted to go out with my girlfriend, I wanted to go out with my girlfriend, not my girlfriend, her sister and my brother.
Oh, he thought it was a freak show, Sean. He thought everybody would be looking at us thinking what they're doing and why they're together, just doing it for show kind of thing. That's what Sean used to get embarrassed about it.
People would look and stare. Some people would just take a glance and then have another look, and then you could see people talking and whispering, you know. People do, or have said, do you swap? And you say, like, no, and people just can't understand, so why not? They're the same, what does it matter, you know? I mean, it's every man's dream to have a couple of twins.
Obviously, you're going out with 2 completely different people. They just, in my eyes, they just look the same. So, I mean, I've never felt attracted to Maxine at all. So, I mean, I wouldn't.
But double dating did result in the odd moment of mistaken identity.
I got them mixed up once, and it was, Callum was getting ready at our house, and she'd borrowed Maxine's pants. And Helen had gone into our bedroom for some reason, and she was in the mirror, and I just walked past and gave her a good slap on the ass. So that was embarrassing. But that's the only time. That was because she had her back to me, you see, so.
The 2 couples were married in 2000 and, coincidentally, went on to have children born just weeks apart.
The reason that identical twins often marry other identical twins is they both have exactly the same tastes and preferences, and they've at last found something where they both sets of twins understand each other. They're both able to be in each other's company, and it doesn't feel strange to them.
In Harrow, Middlesex, the Groom twins continue to cultivate their similarity. For the last 20 years, they've been getting matching haircuts at their local hairdresser.
We always have it cut the same day, and Kay normally cuts our hair each time we come down here, so...
I can't tell the difference between them. I think Carol talks a bit more than Karen, but sitting there, I wouldn't know the difference.
No, we always come sort of together on the same day, yeah. Never been one of us, never one come down here before us being together, so...
Put your glasses.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah?
Yes, thank you.
I said to them, wouldn't it be funny if they had a boyfriend? He wouldn't know which one was taken. He wouldn't know who he was taking out, would he?
But we're going to stay free and single. We're
Free and
that way.
single, they're going to stay. I said, they could have some fun, though, couldn't they, really? Yeah?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Not surprisingly, these twin sisters share more than just the same hairstyle.
Yeah, we have the same taste in everything, yeah. We like love songs and romantic songs. Easy listening. So that if you've got company, you can put it on just in the background. And we like the Nolans as well. Yeah, I'm in the mood for dancing. I like that one. That's the best track. Our mum and dad used to go and see them when they were appearing at the London Rooms up in London, and then our dad got front row tickets for a concert in Wembley when they were appearing there, and we've liked them. He wrote to them and said we were coming, so they said something. They said hello to us. Hello to us on the stage. We've liked them ever since, and see them in summer shows or any other shows they appear in. Or if any of them are in plays, we go and see them. So we've followed them for quite a while now. That picture of the Nolans that was taken in 1991 when we saw them at Hornchurch. We saw them after the show and took a photo, and you sort of see them sort of each year if you can or wherever. We also got one of them, Bernadette Nolan. She recently brought out a fitness DVD, so we bought that too. Even though we haven't done any keep fit, but we still bought it because it was hers.
There can be a downside to being a twin. When it comes to relationships, sometimes two's company and three's a crowd.
Mike and I met in art school. I was 17 and he was 18. And, you know, we dated on and off for about 5 years and then we married. I was 22. I was very sort of sad when Terry got married because I felt that I was losing my best friend in a way, and she didn't confide as much in me then as she does now. So I felt a little bit left out. It felt a little strange for me to have to adjust to her being married, and she used to paint obsessively with him. They did paintings all day long, and I was a painter as well. And then she stopped painting as much and becoming more involved in performance art.
Soon after the wedding, the twins began performing together. But there wasn't a role for Mike.
Linda and I started working together as a sister act, and we were doing robotic mime and singing and comedy for a living. So we were out all the time, and we were always together, and I didn't see Mike that much. So I think that it eventually, I know this is true about twins, is that a guy will very often feel threatened by the close bond of his wife and her sister. And it very often drives a wedge right through the marriage.
One of the toughest parts is when they get to an age when they start to need outside relationships, whether that's proper relationships, boyfriends, girlfriends. And it's very hard for somebody to break into that intimacy that they have. And they don't need anybody else. They've got each other. And so a lot of them feel, well, what more do we need?
Men that we date are threatened by that, the fact that they can't ever really know us on that level, and that somebody else will always be closer. That's very threatening to a man who isn't real confident about himself in relationship.
For Terry and Linda, any relationship with the opposite sex is a source of jealousy.
The last guy that I dated said, gosh, that's scary that you have a twin. And I said, why? And he said, because she has to like me too.
And I didn't.
And
I didn't like him. But I tried to like him. I really do try to like her boyfriends. But, you know, it's difficult.
Linda's influence over her twin isn't just confined to her choice of boyfriends.
She's always resisted my help, even though she wants it. She says she wants it, and I think I help her a lot. There's still that passive-aggressive sort of resistance that is still going on after so many years.
Well, in some ways it does bother me that she leads me in certain directions and is so aggressive about it, but I feel like there's something instinctive in me that says, go with it, do what she says. It's like this demonic voice, and I end up like doing it.
Even when twin boys marry twin girls, all born on the same day in the same hospital, wedding bliss isn't guaranteed. In 2000, these two sets of identical twins got married. 4 years later, Sean received a call from his twin brother Darren.
I think we was arranging pick-up times for the gig that night, and he just said on the phone if he spoke to anybody. I said, how do you mean? He said, have you spoke to my mum or anything today? I said, no. He said, well, me and Ellen are splitting up.
I didn't realise when it was not going to work out until they actually decided to part. It was quite a shock to everybody, because it just happened so quickly. It just came to a full stop all of a sudden.
Helen just turned around. She just said that she'd had enough. It wasn't working for her. She wanted to stay friends, and she thought it'd be better if we split up. So that's what happened. Helen moved out, and I stayed in the house.
I wasn't happy, and I don't think he was happy. It was just one of them things. We just grew apart. It wasn't working.
None of us had ever seen him like that before. I think he was just a bit more heartbroken at the fact that he wasn't wanted anymore.
It affected me and Sean quite bad, because obviously Sean was taking Darren's side, I was taking our own side, but we tried not to talk about it, but when we did, we used to argue, because we're going to stick up for each other's twins, aren't we? So if we would have carried on, we'd have just ended up probably falling out ourselves and putting our marriage on the rocks. So we did try just not to talk about it.
Obviously, I was 100% behind Darren, and she was there for her sister, so it did have a lot of strain on the relationship. Darren and Helen was back on speaking terms and getting on with their lives before me and Maxine had actually started to talk about it, even.
Well, I think the thing is, Sean understands that we're close, and obviously I will confide in our Maxine. Sometimes it was difficult, because he's going to stick up for his brother, and our Maxine will stick up for me.
I think it was hard for them both to keep, you know, their opinions to themselves, because a couple of times they did come to blows.
Despite Darren and Helen's split and subsequent divorce, one thing has remained unchanged: the bond between the sisters.
We're all separate now. I don't go to any of their family parties or... And it has been difficult. It's a change of life, isn't it? But I still see our Maxine, so that's all I'm bothered about. No, nothing will ever come between us. There's nothing that'd ever break us up.
Both sets of twins feel the same.
Our relationship stayed exactly the same as it was. I mean, I don't think anything could probably change it anyway. it's just stayed as it is. You know, you're always going to see him. It doesn't matter when, because you know you are.
Is that a choker? Wow.
I'd describe our relationship as close. I think we're like pieces of Velcros.
But some twins do suffer an identity crisis. Being inseparable can become an issue when one or the other decides they need to spend time apart. 25-year-old Londoners Mandy and Edith have lived together all their lives and even shared a bed until they were 15.
By the time has come where we know we're growing up now, so we have to maybe separate and find out who we are as individuals and try and break that mould. I don't really know who the real me is, because Mandy's always been with me. I don't know my personality, if I'm sharing a personality, if I'm sharing an identity with somebody.
Because it is with me, I'm thinking, is that what I really want to think? Or is it she's putting those ideas in my head? We're sort of like...
I think we're both sharing the same brain at the same time, I think. It's quite similar, because we do think exactly the same thing, like, oh yeah, let's do that together, and we'll say it together. We even finish each other's sentences off as well, each other's lines off, or we both say hi together, and then both say bye together, and we go agree together.
To Mandy and Edith, their lack of individual identities has become a problem. They've decided to visit the first ever Twins Plus festival here in Australia to see how other identical twins cope with a dual existence.
2 pieces of luggage you want to check in? Yeah.
It's a brave decision to want to be apart from each other, but quite often a necessary one as well, because they are in danger of being treated by society as freaks of nature if they do stay together. And nobody wants to be socially targeted or excluded in that way.
In Canberra, Edith and Mandy are just one of hundreds of sets of identical twins. For one weekend, our nation's capital has been turned into Twinland. And in the space of an hour, they've seen more twins than in their entire life.
Yeah, well, our dad's Dutch. He came over here when he was 14 and then met my mum, our mother, you know, a few years later.
You've got your nose pierced in different sides?
Yeah, we've like mirror image, yeah. I prefer, it's weird, we prefer I wear my bags that way and you wear your bag the other way. So when we face each other, it's the same, yeah.
It's quite weird at home together.
Oh, no.
There was 2 girls. One had a piercing on the right and then the other on the left. And then they had the nose piercing. And so when they face each other, they have the mirror image.
That's quite strange.
And I found that really very extreme.
Yeah. Do you want anything else?
For many, separation is not an option.
Well, ultimately, the ideal, I suppose, scenario for us would be to marry twins.
Okay.
Twin girls, all living together in one big house. I think that would be ideal. That'd be perfect.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you, please?
With 39.
All right, okay. We met 2 guys that lived in the same house. They shared 1 car, and they both dated twins. But I did find it a bit scary. These people every day, I think they're thinking, I'm a twin, I'm a twin, I'm a twin, I'm a twin.
Any twins to register?
Twins have travelled from all over Australia to celebrate their genetic similarities. But for Edith and Mandy, what they've seen raises more questions than answers.
Speaking to the people at the event yesterday,
and what they've gone through their lives and how they've always been together.
And the stories that they told us yesterday, we haven't done half of the stuff that they've done at all. In this life, we all have a chance to find out who we are as ourselves. You may look the same, but I think you have to sort of draw the line and think, you know, this big world, I have to find out who I am as a person and find out what I want to do for myself. I think it's nice being together, but there comes a time in your life where you just have to draw the line.
Your own identity, really.
Yeah.
Back in Harrow, the grooms are happy to carry on as a confirmed we. Their world is Twin World, Their social life is each other, and a perfect night out is a night in.
On our way home from work, we call into our mum and dad's because she cooks dinner for our dad, so she cooks dinner for us as well.
And on weekends,
Saturdays,
we tend to cook for them on a Saturday, so we try out sort of recipes.
And it gets her a break as well, and we try out new things on them and experiment.
Experiment.
No, don't want any of that, no? Don't think so? No. Two things. Muffins, Hal, up here. Chocolate chip or ginger? Ginger. Yeah? Sounds a good idea. Yeah? And tinned fruit. Tinned fruit. If we cook anything, we sort of prepare it between us. She does a bit and we both do a bit each, and then
if you do stir fry, she cuts up the chicken or whatever.
And I cut up the vegetables, and then we take turns in stirring it in the pan, so at least we all do a little bit.
Do a bit, so.
Identical twins may be like peas in a pod and determined to stay together throughout their adult lives. But how strong is the bond between them? In Seattle, Washington, identical twins Bonnie and Brenda faced the ultimate twin test.
We were a pair, so you didn't invite one person to a slumber party. You invited Bonnie and Brenda to the slumber party.
We were always together, we played together, had friends together, and always spoke in the we.
We would have dresses that were the same style. There was really no point in even trying to tell us apart.
And when she wasn't around, it felt like something was missing.
But as the twins grew up, differences began to emerge.
I was looking for the latest fashions, and Bonnie was very content wearing the Wrangler jeans.
Although the twins no longer dressed the same, they remained close. Then, just after their joint 30th birthdays, Brenda was told something by her twin sister that threatened to destroy their relationship. Bonnie had decided she wanted to have a sex change.
I heard words that I was very unfamiliar with, like my gender identity. You know, that I thought, what does that mean? And I was not immediately able to speak. I wanted to cry, and I did. And I laughed, and I just couldn't get my brain around it.
I felt awful for hurting her and for putting her through that. I wanted to just say, it's going to be okay. I didn't know it for sure.
Neither knew exactly what lay ahead, but Bonnie was determined to become Aiden.
I was upset because I felt like I was going to lose being an identical twin. I realized that I was not going to have that. It wasn't going to be visible anymore. Nobody was going to turn their head to look at the cute twins that look exactly alike. That was the hardest part for me.
It didn't occur to us at the time that we would lose that piece, and also how strongly we would feel that loss.
Despite her twins' misgivings, at the age of 34, Bonnie began hormone treatment to become a man.
My body was just growing. Any place that had a muscle, that muscle was growing. So that changed my facial structure, and body hair definitely increased. I started with just a little bit around my belly button and just spread and went.
Aiden decided against genital surgery, but did choose to go ahead and have a breast reduction.
When I heard the doctor describing the procedure and what was going to happen, I think I was appalled at the thought of going through. Why would you want to do that? You know, I understood intellectually, well, you know, a man does not want this. But I felt like my breasts were just fine. You know, if anything, you know, can I have a little bit more? You know, whatever they take out of you, can you put into me? And
Although her twin sister now lives life as a man, Brenda has accepted his change of gender. The fact that Aidan remains her twin is more important than outward appearances.
These times, we're just as close as ever, and
You can't take that away by changing your outward appearance or even who you want to partner with.
I don't see there's ever been a time in our lives when she hasn't been the person I have always had in my life.
Nobody is going to make me choose to reject any part of my twin at all, ever.
Brenda is not alone. It seems there is something unique about the bond between identical twins that stays with them as long as they live.
To give you an example of what it would be like with this bond, if there was a burning building and we had to choose between saving a spouse and our twin, we know that it would be our twin first.
I don't know how we would actually go and live separate lives at this point because our lives are so completely intertwined.
We love working together. It's like working with your best friend all the time. And it's great.
I don't think we would like being apart. Well, we don't know because we haven't been apart. We've only been apart one night when you were in hospital, but apart from that, we haven't been apart, and I don't think we would like to. No.